Hi, my name is Nicholas. Welcome to this 3CN practice. For props for today, a couple of hard blocks and a soft block will likely come in handy, and then anything else you like to have around. I'll invite you to get started in a kneeling shape, and if for any reason this doesn't work for you, for the knees or anything else, you can find any other comfortable seat instead. Feel free to use your props any way that you may find helpful. So maybe sitting up off of the hard blocks to make a little seat, maybe take some pressure out of the knees. You could also sit on your soft block between hips and heels, maybe making that a little more comfortable for you. See if you can find a sense that the spine is relatively effortless here. So if that means adding more height to the seat, then go for it. If it feels okay to close down the eyes, otherwise soften your gaze. See if there's anything that you can adjust in your shape to make it just a little more comfortable. And then when you feel ready to, come and find your stillness here. And start to notice the flow of the breath. And start to check in with the body. You're welcome to stay right here for as long as you need. And only when you feel ready to move again, transition down onto the belly. You can get there any way you like. Just have your blocks nearby in case you need them. As you lower down, check in to see if there's anything you need to add in to make this feel a little more comfortable for you. So maybe padding for the pelvis or something for the forehead. And from here, we'll set up and take a quad stretch. So you can start by bending the right knee and reach back to catch the foot. If the foot's out of reach, you might take the knee over to the right a little bit so you can reach it, and then you can bring it back in line. A strap can be helpful here as well if the foot's out of reach. And then see what the rest of the body needs to do here. Maybe taking the left forearm out in front, or you can turn the head to one side. Not necessarily looking for the most intense sensation. Finding a stretch that feels workable and sustainable. Somewhere that you can still breathe smooth, deep breaths. Gently release that right foot down to the ground. Take a moment here, see if there's any counter stretch that you need. It might feel nice to tuck the toes and then engage the leg to lift the kneecap up. Give that back line of the leg a little stretch. And then you can release the right leg and we'll switch over for the left. Anything you need to do to set yourself up, just take your time. Adding in any props or support that you need here. And whenever you feel ready, finding your stillness. And finding your pain-free expression. And settling in. Gently release. You can tuck the left toes, engage the back of the left leg. Take a few deep breaths here. When you're ready, let that go. Give the feet a gentle swish side to side. When you feel ready to move again, you can slowly walk the hands in under the shoulders, press up to a tabletop position. In a moment, we'll set up for a pigeon pose or swan pose. If for any reason this doesn't work for you, feel free to take deer pose, or you can take thread the needle on the back. And to set up, I like to come in through downward facing dog. So you might join me, pressing down through the hands, lifting the hips up and back, maybe taking a breath or two here, wiggling out the hips. From your downward facing dog, as you feel ready, lift the right leg up behind you, and then you can slide the right knee forward, bringing it just behind the right wrist, and right foot over towards the left. Lowering the left knee to the floor, you might start to slide that left knee a little further back in space. And then if the right hip is hovering, then you might slide a soft block underneath to help you feel a little more grounded here. And check in. Make sure it feels like a pain-free expression. If you're feeling pinching somewhere, if you need to adjust the angle of that right shin to bring the right foot a little closer to the body, see what feels the most sustainable here. You might start to lower the chest a little bit further towards the floor, maybe bring the elbows down. You can also use your heart blocks to bring the floor a little closer. Maybe something to rest the forehead on eventually. Starting to settle into your expression. And if you do feel any pain at any point, feel free to back out as much as you need to. Otherwise, if you can, start to find your stillness here. Start to notice the breath. As you feel ready to, you can slowly start to make your way out. You can come out the way you came in, or you can release out to a seat. If you're coming with me to down dog, you can shift that left knee a little further in, lifting the hips to send the right foot either to the back of the mat or up towards the ceiling. Maybe taking some circles with the lifted leg. You can bend and extend. Releasing any way that feels good. You can do any of this from a tabletop position as well. When you're ready, we'll set up for the second side. From your down dog, you can lift the left leg up. And then big step forward, left knee behind the left wrist, left foot behind the right wrist somewhere. Lowering the right knee, sliding that right knee a little further back. And this side may feel different to the first, so you may use your props a little differently. You may end up in a slightly different shape as well, and that's okay. Look for something that feels similar in the body. And check in as you come in if there's anything you need to adjust or anything in the body that you want to keep an eye out for. And perhaps lowering the chest, the forehead, and coming to find your version of the shape, finding your stillness here. pigeon pose as you feel ready. And slowly start to lift yourself back up. And think about how you want to come out of the shape and what counter stretch you'd like. And you can slowly make your way there, listening to your body. Eventually coming back to your downward facing dog, maybe taking a breath or two here. Perhaps in stillness, or maybe pedaling the heels and swaying the hips, letting the head be nice and heavy. And from your downward facing dog, as you feel ready, you can make your way forward towards a plank, lowering the knees and then the pelvis down to the floor, and taking the forearms out in front, and we'll set up for Sphinx pose. And the elbows can be roughly underneath the shoulders, the forearms can be parallel, or you can have the hands together if that feels more comfortable. Gently allowing that front body to lengthen here. And see if you want something a little more gentle, you can take the elbows further forward to soften the back bend. If you want more intensity, you could also take the elbows onto your props, making a little shelf, finding a more intense version of the shape. See where you're at for today. And find something where you can still breathe nice and smooth, deep breaths. Something, as always, that's a pain-free expression. Maybe closing eyes or softening gaze here. As you feel ready, gently allow the spine to soften back down to the floor. You might stack the palms under the forehead or turn the head to one side. Maybe choosing stillness for a few breaths, or straight away if you like, you can gently windshield wiper the heel side to side. Stay here for as long as it serves you. And when you're ready, any way you like to get there, you can flip yourself onto your back. Take a moment to set yourself up here. And we'll find a twist. So you can start by maybe bending both the knees. Option to wrap the left leg around the right, or you can keep your two knees next to each other. And scooting the hips over towards the left and start to let the knees come down towards the right. And if you find that the knees are hovering, it might feel nice to give them a hard block to rest on. And then if you need a support anywhere else in the body, then take your moment to add that in. Maybe arms can be in cactus or T-shape. You could also extend the left arm to the floor overhead if you want a little more side body stretch. And if you like to take the gaze down towards the left to bring the twist further up the spine, then go for it. Find your stillness here as you're ready. If the head is turned, gently bring it back to center. And you can squeeze the thighs and start to bring the knees up. Scoot the hips to midline. And then unravel the legs and take a pause for a moment. Feet wide, knees together. You can also windshield wiper if that feels like a better release. And when you're ready, we'll set that up on the second side. So you might have a block down there. If it was helpful on the first side, it will likely be helpful on this side too. You might wrap the right leg around the left if you did so on the first side. Just scoot the hips over to the right, and then gently start to lower the knees down towards the left. Take a moment to set yourself up, and if this side feels a little different, allow the pose to be a little different too. Always looking for that pain-free expression. Making any final adjustments to your shape. And then when you're ready, find your stillness here. Gently let the head come back to center. One at a time or together, allow the knees to come back up to center. Hips to midline, feet a little wider, knees together, take a pause. And choose to stay right here, or start to give yourself a gentle windshield wiper side to side. And when you're ready, we'll set up for our last shape, and this will be our rest shape as well. Setting up for a reclined butterfly, so you can take the soles of the feet together, the knees nice and far apart. You can have the feet closer to the pelvis or further away in more of a diamond shape. Maybe supporting the thighs with a heart block each. Letting them have something to rest into might allow those inner groin muscles to soften a little bit further. Find a comfortable spot for the arms. Make sure the head feels nice and supported here. If any part of the body feels a little fidgety or needs any last movement, you can find that now. And then find your stillness and your rest as you're ready. Gently deepen the breath. Allowing a little movement, wiggling fingers and toes. As as you're ready, you can help the knees together and see where you'd like to pause. Maybe feet wide, knees together, maybe a windshield wiper. Maybe you like to extend the legs long down the mat, and you can windshield wiper the feet side to side or extend the arms overhead and give yourself a full body stretch. Whatever you're doing, you can keep it going for as long as you need. And then when you're ready, you can roll down to one side and take a pause for a few breaths. And then slowly making your way up to any comfortable seated position. And take a moment to settle the hips, to gently lengthen the spine, and soften the shrug muscles. The hands can stay wherever they've landed, or if you like, you can connect the palms at the heart. And taking these last few moments of your practice to check back in. Thank you for sharing your breath and your practice today. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for this week's Yin practice. And my name is Nicholas. If you have any questions, please reach out and enjoy the rest of your day.